Homey Pro, the next generation of smart home, years ahead of the competition, world's most advanced smart home hub. Those are some pretty big claims. Today we're going to find out if the new Homey Pro can live up to those claims and see what it actually can do in my home. Let's go! Yo, what's up guys? My name is Shane and this channel is all about building an easy Apple home, smart home with new videos and live streams published every week. Homey Pro, in a nutshell, it's a new smart home hub. Yes, another hub, but hold on, you might want to stick around for this one. It supports 8 different smart home technologies or protocols. Basically, all your smart home devices can connect to this thing. It has some insane automation capabilities, which we're going to talk about. Everything is processed locally. This is probably one of the most capable smart home hubs out of the box that I've ever used. There's a lot to cover. I'll put chapters down below in case you want to skip around to any certain parts. But yeah, I've been pretty excited about this one. And it's kind of ironic. I really didn't plan it this way, but this video just happens to come right after my video where I completely rebuilt my entire Apple home setup because of some issues that I was having, for the past month or two. It was pretty painful. Well, naturally, I've been, using and testing this new Homey Pro, so I kind of started thinking, could this new hub possibly be the answer to solve all of my smart home frustrations? I don't know. Maybe. Now I am all in on Apple HomeKit, so I will certainly cover this from an Apple Home perspective, and we'll talk about that integration a little more in a few minutes. But first, full disclosure, the folks over at Homey did send me this unit for free so that I could test it out and ultimately share it with you. But there are no strings attached, and I'm going to be completely honest about my experience here. As always, this video is sponsored by Econet, the company that makes the Bulldog Smart Water Shutoff Valve. I love this thing. I'm actually using the Zigbee version of the Bulldog paired to this new Homey Pro, which makes it accessible in HomeKit. Really awesome, but we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So you may or may not have heard of Homey before. They did have a previous generation Homey Pro that I believe was released in 2019, but they weren't selling or shipping it at all to the US. In 2023, they started shipping worldwide, including US and Canada, with the release of this latest generation Homey Pro. Again, it does support up to 8 different technologies, including Wi-Fi, both 5 GHz and 2.4 GHz bands, Bluetooth, Z-Wave Plus, Zigbee 3.0, infrared, 433 MHz, as well as Matter and Thread. The Thread radio has not been unlocked yet at the time of this recording. It is supposed to be available in Q3 of 2023, so we should see that update come through any time now. It should just be a firmware update, so I'll be looking for that. Now this will allow your Homey Pro to serve as a Thread border router for your Matter over Thread accessories. One exciting thing that I heard them mention in the keynote is that you will get the basic Matter experience as it's defined in the Matter specification, just like you would in HomeKit, Google Home, etc. But Homey Apps will also be capable of supporting Matter accessories, meaning they can extend the functionality of Matter devices, including manufacturer-specific settings, things that you would typically need a manufacturer's app for. So that's pretty exciting. Homey Pro does connect via Wi-Fi out of the box, or you can connect it directly via Ethernet with the Homey Pro Ethernet adapter sold separately. Homey Pro is local first, which I am a fan of. That means that Homey automations will continue to work even when your internet is down, and all your smart home data is stored on Homey Pro itself. Naturally, some things will require, cloud communication like push notifications or certain apps, but Homey only uses the cloud when absolutely necessary, which is nice. Homey Pro works completely without the need for any subscriptions. Homey Pro can be backed up locally, or you can subscribe for optional automatic cloud backups, which is 99 cents a month. So that's the only subscription available for Homey Pro, and it is completely optional. Again, that's just for those automatic cloud backups. You can back up your Homey Pro locally for free anytime you want. All right, so let's unbox this thing and set it up. Then we'll cover the app, which I really can't wait to show you. In the box, you get a nice getting started guide with very clear instructions, the hub itself with a single USB-C port, USB-C cable, and power adapter. That's everything in the box, nice and simple. Again, you can purchase the Homey Pro Ethernet adapter sold separately, or you can bundle it in with your original purchase of the hub. I powered mine up and connected it via Wi-Fi at first just to get things set up. You'll want to download the Homey app. The app should recognize your new hub with this nice little Apple-like card that pops up. Follow through the prompts, then connect it to your Wi-Fi network unless you're using the Ethernet adapter. It takes a couple of minutes to set up and install updates. Then we can set up our new home and let the fun begin. You basically configure your house by choosing how many floors you have, and then you can choose which rooms you have on each floor, change icons, or customize room names if you want. Then it's gonna ask you for the location of your home. Not gonna show you that part. And then we're done. I felt that the setup process was very intuitive and easy. We have our little home screen dashboard here. It's pretty blank because I haven't set up any devices yet. So let's go ahead and fix that. I'll tap new device and then I'll search for IKEA because I have this little IKEA button remote here. It connects via Zigbee, and typically you would need an IKEA hub for this, but we don't since we got the Homey Pro. So I'll find the correct remote control here in the Homey app and move through the prompts to pair the remote. That's it. Our first device has been added to Homey Pro. Now I can't do anything with this since it is a button, but I can configure automations to control and things like that, which we'll cover in just a second. So over the next few days after the initial setup, I went through and just started adding a number of devices from my house to the Homey Pro, basically anything that I could think of that I could add. I added a generic Zigbee light strip just to see what happens. So for something like that, you can just tap Homey, and then you can see the different protocols here. I'll tap Zigbee for just as, generic Zigbee device, and then try to put the device in pairing mode. This may vary for different devices. We usually consist of turning the device on and off 3 or 4 times real quick. Once it was in pairing mode, the device was added and I could then control it. Homey does recognize it as a light device, so I can adjust the brightness and change the colors. I then tried adding some Aqara sensors directly to Homey Pro, but I was unable to do this for some reason. I kept getting an error. Now this should work as there is an Aqara app available in Homey, but for some reason I couldn't make it happen. I have reached out to the folks at Homey about this, and they are currently working with me to get this resolved. I know a lot of you might be using Aqara devices also, so I'll put any updates down in the description or in the comments below. Now, I added some Z-Wave devices as well. There was a Fabaro smart plug and motion sensor, both Z-Wave Plus. I added a sensitive Z-Wave multi-sensor as well as the EcoNet Z-Wave Bulldog water shutoff valve. Now I have been using this thing for at least a year now with other Z-Wave hubs integrated into my HomeKit setup, and it works great. It works with the Think of Z-Wave hub, SmartThings, Habitat, and of course now Homey Pro. Most of these allow you to, integrate it into HomeKit so you can automate in the Home app to turn off your water to the entire house if any of your HomeKit water sensors detects a leak, which is awesome. EcoNet also makes a Wi-Fi version that works well with Homebridge if you'd rather go that route. Water damage is a huge problem, especially here in the US, and being able to cut off the water to the entire house as soon as a leak is detected can save you thousands of dollars in repairs. So I do highly recommend getting something like the Bulldog water shutoff valve to protect your house. I'll put links down below in the description where you can pick one up if interested. Big thanks to EcoNet for sponsoring today's video and supporting this channel. The only Z-Wave device that I attempted to add and was unable to is the Zeus scene controller. Homey currently doesn't support Zeus, unfortunately, but I was told that they are working on this and plan to in the future. All right, now let's talk real quick about the Matter integration. So I have a couple of Matter smart bulbs behind me, a smart plug as well that I've been testing out. To add a Matter accessory to your Homey Pro bridge is pretty simple, similar to Zigbee or the Z-Wave integrations. Just tap Add New Device, you'll tap Homey, and then tap Matter, And this for us HomeKit users will be very familiar. You'll scan the QR code or type in the numerical code just like you do with Apple Home. And then if everything goes well, the smart device should be added directly to your Homey Pro, and you can then control it right there from the Homey app. Now, that said, there are a few things I want to talk about regarding this Matter integration with the Homey Pro. First of all, at the time of this recording, you can only do Matter over Wi-Fi devices paired directly to it because that Thread radio is not turned on yet. Once they enable that through the firmware update, you will be able to add, Matter over Thread devices to your Homey Pro bridge, something like the Eve Energy smart plug. But for the time being, that doesn't work. Only Matter over Wi-Fi devices will work. And it is worth noting that this is still in beta. So you may have some hiccups. Again, I did have some devices that worked well. So I have here, these are the Lean Kind smart bulbs, as well as the Maris smart plug. So I was able to add all these successfully. I'll put links to everything that I'm using down below in the description. So you can see right there, it's quite responsive, for a Wi-Fi bulb. Kind of dims out, which is why it looks a little slower going off, kind of dims out. And then if you tap and hold, you can pull up those controls similar to the other stuff before. So there's dimming, and you got color. And I also have a Maris smart plug back there, and the other light is actually plugged into the smart plug. So if I turn that off, you'll see, and I hear it clicking almost immediately. So these integrations seem to work well. I wasn't able to pair all the Matter Wi-Fi devices though that I attempted. So I did try a Govee light strip, as well as the Yeelight cubes, which both support Matter over Wi-Fi, and I was unable to pair those. Again, this is in beta still, so you may run into some hiccups or some issues trying to add certain devices, but this does support Matter over Wi-Fi, so you should be able to add those devices to the bridge. But again, you might have some issues like I have, but if you're able to, they seem to work really well. Again, I'll put links to all these down below. I was really kind of hoping to get the Yeelight and the Govee lights into Homey Pro just to see what they do. But there is a Govee app integration, which we should talk about the apps. There are so many apps available here. I added Lutron accessories, including Pico remotes. I added Nanoleaf shapes and lines. I can even run automations in Homey to change the effects of all my Nanoleaf stuff. There is a Twinkly app, so I could integrate my daughter's Twinkly lights into Homey. I got all the SwitchBot blind tilts in there with a SwitchBot app. There's apps for Philips Hue, Sonos, Spotify, Toya, Govee, Dyson, Ecobee. The list just goes on and on. Also, I should mention that there are both official apps as well as community built apps. So, just a ton of integrations here because of that. You can view all of the Homey Pro apps on their website. I'll put a link to that page in the description below as well. Homey Pro does support Alexa, Google Assistant, and Siri shortcuts, meaning it supports all of the major voice assistants. Now, it doesn't currently officially support HomeKit, but there is a section in the Homey app settings called Experiments. Here you can turn on the HomeKit experiment, which will expose Homey Pro devices to Apple HomeKit. Think of this as kind of like a beta, if you will. Once you enable that, you can go into the Apple Home app and add a new accessory as usual. You should see the Homey Pro there. It will say this is an uncertified accessory. Add it anyways if you wish. Paste in the code we got from the Homey app, and that's it. Now, each time you add a new accessory to your Homey Pro, it will automatically show up in the Apple Home app. And what I really like is that there is an option under each accessory to hide it from the Apple Home app, so you can hide certain accessories if you don't want them exposed to Apple Home. The HomeKit integration can be a bit hit or miss with certain devices. For example, my generic Zigbee LED strip that we talked about earlier just shows up as a smart plug in the Home app for some reason. My sensitive Z-Wave multi-sensor only gives me the humidity in the Home app and ignores all the other sensors. Again, don't know why. Some accessories aren't supported, like buttons and the SwitchBot blind tilts. So keep that in mind if that is important, that HomeKit integration for you. So I started by using the official HomeKit experiment in the Homey Pro settings, but there is also a really good community built HomeKit app for Homey called Home Kitty, and that might be worth checking out. This one works really well. I like this one a lot, and a lot of people speak highly of this one. This one actually exposed the multi-sensor, all the sensors of the multi-sensor to HomeKit a lot better than the HomeKit experiment. So again, just something you might want to check out. The real magic of this device is the user interface. It's really intuitive, just like the setup. It looks incredible in my opinion. It's actually quite similar to the Apple Home app in many ways. There is the mobile app as well as the web interface. I absolutely love this thing on larger screens. The Home tab will include your favorite devices and flows, as well as other people in your home. Of course, you can control all of your devices and go through different rooms here. The Flows tab is basically your automations. And man, they really knocked it out of the park with this. You can create a new flow or create a new advanced flow. It's very intuitive. Add a trigger, which can be anything from the date or the time, other accessories, location, and so much more. Let's say when the first person comes home, then we add a condition. Again, many possibilities. Let's say after sunset. Then choose your action. Let's say the driveway light turns on, for example. You can add multiple conditions or actions here. And check this out. If you have multiple conditions or actions, you can drag them for even more advanced automations. And this is just really scratching the surface. We're not even getting into the advanced flows yet. You can see this little demo right here showing some of the possibilities with this. Just really incredible. I am very excited about this, and honestly, just still trying to wrap my head around everything that I will be able to do with this. And I can't wait to do more. So far, I've just set up and tested some pretty basic automations, but I'm just so impressed with the design and how well all of this has worked for me so far. In fact, I was recently testing out the new Flick Twist, and I was using the native Nanoleaf integration in the Flick app. And it wasn't really that reliable for what I was trying to do. I realized that Flick actually has a Homey integration. So I set up a few different flows in Homey that changed the Nanoleaf effects and stuff that I was trying to do. I then configured the Flick Twist to call on those Homey flows, and now it works great. So I think I'm gonna be able to continue to find creative and useful ways of utilizing Homey Pro and the automations and stuff built in. There is an energy tab only on the web interface, so not sure if my home just needs more data for this to populate or if this feature is just like coming soon, but this will help you understand your smart home's power consumption, so they say. If you have solar panels or a smart meter, even more functionality becomes available here. There's also an Insights tab that allows you to track certain devices over time and create nice custom charts. All right, I'm gonna be honest, this device has really blown me away. The number of integrations possible is very impressive. I have a lot of devices here in my house, and there was only a few here and there that I just couldn't add. Again, the Zeus switch didn't work, but they did say that should be coming in the future. And I couldn't get any of my Aqara devices to pair to Homey, but I'm confident that I will be able to after speaking with the rep from Homey. They do have an Aqara Homey app, and I know a number of people that use this integration, so it's just a matter of me getting it to work. But almost everything else I tried to pair to the hub worked very well, except of course my Thread devices, because it doesn't support those yet, but that update should be coming very soon. The ability to expose whichever devices I want to the Apple Home app is great. There are some limitations again, like I said, as far as, some devices not being supported or not fully supported, but overall it's pretty good. Up until now, I've pretty much kept all of my automations in HomeKit, but for the first time, I'm really thinking about moving a lot of that over to Homey, especially after the issues that I've had lately with my HomeKit setup. I can actually create backups in Homey Pro, which is nice. And when Homey supports Thread, I'll certainly consider pairing those Thread devices directly to Homey, and then maybe, exposing them to HomeKit after that. That Matter integration still does need a little bit of work. I know it's early, it's in beta still, But hopefully once, you know, they continue to work on it, roll out some updates, adding more devices will be easier. Looking forward to getting that thread support turned on so we can add thread devices. And I think they're on the right track, but it does still need a little bit of work regarding the Matter integration and adding those Matter devices directly to your bridge. The Homey app and the web interface is truly a pleasure to use. I know that probably sounds a little bit dramatic, but I am a sucker for a good design and user interface. And I think they just nailed this. Now, it's not cheap at all, costing $399 and an extra $29 if you want the Ethernet adapter. But it has been a really good experience for me so far. Now, they do also have a basic version of the hub. They call this a Homey Bridge. It's only $69, but doesn't give you near what you get with the Homey Pro. So the bridge does have built-in infrared, Z-Wave, Zigbee, but it won't have Matter or thread support. You also can't do those experiments and some of the more advanced stuff that you can do with the Homey Pro. Now, that said, you can also use the Homey app with or without either of these bridges. So if you want to like just, you know, you can go and sign up and just use the app by itself for free to kind of test it out. If you want to test out some of these flows and automations and stuff, you can add a few devices like just through the app, and then I think it's $2 or $3 a month if you want to just use the service, if you want to go that route. But again, if you're watching this video, you probably just want the Homey Pro. $399. You don't need any other subscriptions or anything once you have the device, and you can do all the advanced stuff with that. And whether or not that's worth the cost is entirely up to you. I do think it's earned a permanent spot here in my smart home, and maybe, just maybe, this will be the saving grace from all my recent HomeKit headaches. If you want to see how and why I recently rebuilt my entire Apple Home setup from the ground up, check out this video right here. Don't forget to subscribe for new smart home videos and live streams right here every week. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.